You're watching Pitt Beyond the Script.
Let's go! Let's go, Pitt!
Offensive spacing and execution. Take up the whole court. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy the environment. But the main thing is fight for 40 minutes. All right, let's go.
This is the energy I remember.
And the X-Man brings it full court. Picks up a screen, drives in there.
Oh, yeah. That's what Pitt does best. They take the ball, they drive it to the basket.
Gives it up to Johnson. Johnson drives all the way in. Layup shot.
Oh, yeah.
Off the glass in the 8-6. Xavier Johnson. Steal by Johnson. He's in the clear. There's a jam. And the game is tied at 8-8. And the place goes counter.
Ellison driving. Fought for the loose ball. Is a miss. Ellison, basket and foul in the trance at the old school.
Hey, we got to string together shots.
Gowns. He's open for three.
Tony takes an 18-footer and drains it.
Got to get a good set here.
There's a three in the air. And it's drained by Wilson Frame.
The very first thing is that I am incredibly grateful of the crowd that we had today. Something that we certainly do not take for granted. Very appreciative of the energy that was in the building from all the fans, especially the Oakland Zoo. What we did in the non-conference was good for the non-conference, but it's not the same Pitt. You know, we're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to get better.
It starts as a game, a gathering of friends. And slowly, as some begin to sit back, others stand out. The joy of playing turns to passion. And as the skills develop, so do the minds. And they begin to seek challenges, peers, and mentors to further their abilities and opportunities. The love and passion becomes a thirst for people in a place
We make history today in Pittsburgh.
that will embrace and push, a hunger for excellence, and to be in and among champions. These are the dreamers, scholars, leaders. These are the guides, teachers, mentors. And this is the opportunity, the challenge, the place. This is Pitt Beyond the Script.
This week on Pitt Beyond the Script, a new year and a new era of Pitt basketball as the Panthers look to carry the momentum of a successful non-conference season into ACC play. We'll sit down with Coach Capel after his squad's sold-out battle with North Carolina at the Peak. We'll get to know one of Coach Capel's emerging young stars, the X-Man, Xavier Johnson. We'll also check in with the women's scoring leader and local Panther, Cassidy Walsh. We'll dive into a new season at Trees Pool with the coaches and some of the players in the Pitt swimming and diving team. And we'll revisit a special moment from the end of 2018. Some goodwill from Pitt and Dick's Sporting Goods partnership at the CEC as we see the impact the gift of sport can make. This week on Pitt Beyond the Script.
What a phenomenal world we live in, where the impossible is anything but. No matter the game, we are always playing for Pittsburgh. On the biggest stages, amplifying the quietest voices, leveraging knowledge for society's gain, the builders of the future. We empower minds. We ignite fire and soar higher. Hail to Pitt.
You already have the initiative to get started, a desire to want more, to be challenged, to be pushed, and to be coached and mentored when you hit hurdles. The The professional MBA program at the University of Pittsburgh's Cat School of Business offers hands-on, experience-based learning through an innovative blend of online and in-person courses, allowing you to earn your MBA at your own pace, on your own schedule. Exceed your goals and see new, brighter ones for tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to Pitt Beyond the Script alongside head coach Jeff Capel. I'm Rob King. We're going to dive into some men's basketball talk right away. And Saturday, first time that you play an ACC game, the zoo, all the atmosphere. What was that like for you to see it and for the kids to experience it?
You know, it was incredible. We were very excited about it, very grateful for it, and very much appreciative.
This should be fun. Look at that Oakland Zoo bouncing, not only across the way, but also wrapped around to our right. Quite a sight.
To see the place full, to see the passion, to see the zoo rabid like it was, especially that first 8 minutes, to really feel it, you know, because we played well.
The rebound in the Pitt, hands up and in. Oh, yeah. And that's Ellison just hanging right with it. And the game is tied. Shot won't go. Rebound is up and in by Odise Tony to make it 15-14.
I wish we could have performed better throughout the game. I thought we played hard. I thought we competed. But we played against a really good team. But again, I think it's a great sign that we were able to have that. It's a testament to the fans feeling a connection with this team, feeling a connection again with the program, and it's a great step in what we're trying to build here.
You said after the game that you felt like the team was a little overmatched. Did you mean by the magnitude of an ACC team, a top team, North Carolina coming in, or physically when you said overmatched?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. You know, if I'm being completely honest, I think, you know, look, we are not going to be the most talented team right now. That's just the reality of it. But the thing that we have to do is that we have to control the things that we can control at a very high level. So we have to be smart. You know, we have to be incredibly connected all the times. We have to play hard.
But what an assist for Cam Davis.
And we have to be together. And I don't think we did all of those things all the time throughout that game. I thought we were a little bit overwhelmed by the whole situation. It's the first time they've run out where it's been that many people, where it's that type of atmosphere. It's the first ACC game, and it just so happens to be against one of the most storied programs in the history of college basketball. And so what can happen, and I think this happened at the under 12-minute timeout. It's a 15-14 game. We've played well. We've made some exciting plays. I thought we were exhausted because we expended so much energy because we're not used to having all of that energy. And I thought from that point, I thought that's where the game got out of control for us during that stretch.
Roy Williams was asked after the game what his preparation was like for your team and what he felt that he had to be wary of. He talked about how hard your team plays, the tempo with which you play. So as you talk about obviously wanting to win games now, but also understanding that the future is going to be maybe a little bit different, are those blueprints of what we're expecting to see?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting question and a great question because it's something that, you know, we've talked about as a staff. So on one hand, because we don't have a lot of depth right now, you know, you could say, okay, we want to take the air out of the ball, you really slow it down and things like that. But we are trying to establish a culture as a staff and as a team. And the way I want to play is fast. I want to get up and down the court. I want to, you know, allow guys to have some freedom. And so in order to do that, we understand that we may take some lumps right now. We understand that. And we don't want to, but that's the reality of it. We may take some, especially against the North Carolinas of the world. But this thing is not just about this season and this team. It's about trying to build a program. And in order to do that, we have to try to establish our culture. And then hopefully as we recruit, people want to be a part of the culture that we're building.
The pace of the college basketball season is such that every 3 or 4 days you have a game, the kids have classes, they have other responsibilities, but I'm sure you want to teach them a little bit, okay, this is what happened against North Carolina, this is what we did well, what we didn't do well. How much time, is it enough time to impart that wisdom to the kids?
You know, it's challenging, but you have to make time for it. You know, is it enough? As a coach, you constantly feel like it's not. But you have to make that time. And so, you know, you have to give them a day off. Our day off was yesterday.
Our talking has to get better. It has gotten better.
So we have to come back, and now we have to get back, and we have to give them feedback from North Carolina to see, here are the things that we have to improve on. What I said, here are the things that we can control. We did not do a good job of this. Here are things we did do a good job with. So we have to learn that way so it doesn't continue to happen, the negative things. We have to try to correct those things right away. And you have to do it in a time frame because these games are coming now back to back. I mentioned earlier, we don't have a lot of depth, so we have to be very smart about how much we do in practice and what we do in practice.
Anybody watching the game, if you attended the game, you can see some of the young Panthers players certainly did not look out of place on the court. One of those guys, Xavier Johnson, we're going to be featuring a little bit later on in the program. What can you tell us about Xavier on and off the court?
Well, on the court, he's talented.
Here comes X-Man. Not up and in there.
Yes.
He's a guy that's not afraid of work. He is naturally competitive, and he has a toughness about him.
Johnson, free pass to the rim.
I think he's grown so much during his short time here so far, and I think he has a very high ceiling, and that was something that was important to us when we recruited him. Off the court, he's a really good kid, very quiet, kind of straight-laced, serious, but he has a funny side to him that once he becomes comfortable in a situation, he'll open up and he'll allow you to see that. But he's a guy that really wants to be a good basketball player and is willing to put in the work to make that happen.
Oh, it's good, and we're looking forward to that feature coming up in the show. Coach, thanks very much. Good luck moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, stick around. We have more to come on Pitt Beyond the Script. Don't go away. Pitt Beyond the Script will return right after this.
Learning a dance like flamenco, you need to learn where to place your feet, and you also need to learn new rhythms. So you're learning new stepping patterns and new stepping rhythms. I really enjoy that, and flamenco has that part of it. Your mind is kind of filled with the sound that your feet are doing and with the movements that you see. We study this because patients, when they have a brain lesion, they lose this ability to walk and they need to relearn it. So we are trying to understand how is that we can train these patients to relearn it in a more effective manner. The non-test, like the reference one, you're always going to start like that. I would say you gradually go from some simple movement to complicated behavior. We're trying to develop theories behind this learning that is happening. Being in a bioengineering program, we're trying to use quantitative tools to be able to understand how to train someone. We're trying to understand how can we retrain people to be able to walk again. It's not only like learning what to do in more like in a reactive manner, but it's also learning in a more planning manner, saying, okay, after this step, there's this other one that follows.
As the days of 2018 wore down, members of the partnership between Pitt and Dick's Sporting Goods took a break from the hustle and bustle to meet at the CEC in Homewood, one of two Pitt community engagement centers, to share a little goodwill and to make a difference through the gift of sport.
When the Dick's Sporting Goods opportunity came around, we were extremely excited. So on Giving Tuesday, we all huddled into a Pitt bus and drove from the Community Engagement Center to their offices in Coraopolis. We would have been happy with a box of balls.
The expectation, honestly, I expected, some footballs, some basketballs, some baseballs. So when we came down, they had this line of people. 100, 200 people came down, and I didn't know it was for us at first. I said, is all of this for us? So we're all kind of like, what's going on here? So we're walking down like the Soul Train line, if you want to say.
When we walked into that space, there was a ginormous Christmas tree, probably the largest Christmas tree I ever saw in my life. And at the bottom of that tree, nothing but supplies for Homewood Community Sports, for all of the sports that they offer to the community. When we got to the point where there was a ceremony, it wasn't until we saw like this huge cardboard sign that was almost like in the shape of a check. that we realized what was happening. And then when they turned the check around and we saw the number, which was $20,000, all I heard was mothers crying behind me, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, we can't believe this happened.
The kids' smiles were from ear to ear. Like, I was in shock. I really don't even remember. They said I hugged everybody about 10 times.
I describe it as the closest thing that I'll probably ever get to an Oprah or an Ellen moment, and it's all thanks to the relationship with Dick's Sporting Goods on Giving Tuesday that will continue to benefit the children of Homewood for quite some time.
You can imagine for an organization like Homewood Community Sports, who's 100% volunteer, what $20,000 can do for an organization in our neighborhood. That is impactful, it's infectious, the giving, and it's going to spread throughout the community. It already is spreading throughout the community. It's giving people hope, and I credit that to, you know, Dick's, Darren, and Lena at Community Engagement Center, Christian Spears, Pitt Athletics. They've really been, you know, like adopted us as an organization and really been, you know, just compassionate and passionate about helping us, and, you know, we're grateful for that.
One, two, three.
You're watching Pitt Beyond the Script.
2018 saw the arrival and the beginning of the Coach White era for the women's basketball team.
Had spent the previous 15 years as an assistant coach at Florida State. Most recently was the associate head coach there and was named the 2017 National Assistant Coach of the Year.
They capped the year with a win over Duquesne in the City game.
Panthers about to snap a 4-game losing streak in the City game. As that's your ball game. The Pitt Panthers come to Duquesne at the A.J. Palumbo Center with a 66-58 victory.
And quietly built a 9-5 record with noteworthy wins over Arkansas, Cincinnati, Fordham, and Northwestern in the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
And what Coach White has brought to the table is he has built up the confidence of this group. Of course, winning games will do that for you.
And as the new year begins, so does ACC play for the Panthers.
Let's go, Pitt!
As Coach White sets the foundation for his program, he looked to his players and these emerging young hardwood leaders, Garvin, Whitney, and Walsh. Just a few of the Panthers who are helping to forge this new era of Pitt basketball. Welcome back to Pitt Beyond the Script, and we are joined by Cassidy. Before we get started too much, what's it like? What's it been like being a local person playing at Pitt?
I absolutely love being home. My family is in the stands every game, friends and family. I can go home sometimes for Sunday dinner after practice, which is great. I just love this city so much, and I wanted to be here, and Pitt is a dream school for me.
Walsh will try a deep three. She is on fire, Cassidy Walsh.
Coach White describes you as two different people, saying you're one of the nicest people that you could know off the court, and a little bit different, a little fiercer on the court. What is that? What happens with that transition?
I think when I'm on the court, I'm just so zoned in and focused.
Throws it, baseline, Walsh wants a three, and she buries it.
Probably not the nicest on the court. I mean, you have to have a mentality of, you know, competitiveness and just to win. And I think that obviously comes out on the court for sure.
So when you see Coach White coming in and trying to lead the program in a new direction, I'm sure you're always going to want to be attached to the program, but what's it been like being in kind of the ground floor of what is hopefully going to be a new productive chapter in Pitt basketball history?
I mean, it's so exciting to see where this program is going to go. I'm so fortunate to be the foundation of it, the first year with him. I think he will do tremendous things here, and the atmosphere and the culture that he has created and will create is something that Pitt should be really excited for.
Our ultimate goal is that we're all in together, we're all in it for each other.
In addition to Duquesne, you guys had some really nice wins in the non-conference portion of the schedule, 9-5 in the non-conference. What are some of those wins? What are some of the moments maybe that stick out to you?
I think having, you know, being 9-5 is good for us going into conference play. A few of those losses were the home stretch that we didn't close, and I think for us, it's all about growth. And every single game we do, we learn from the mistakes we made, and we continue to push. And I think that's what made us have 9 wins.
Whitney, good pass down low to Judkins.
Which is really good for going into conference play.
As far as conference play is concerned, I mean, obviously, you have 3 top 15 teams in the country in your first 4 games. Obviously, that's a challenge for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we just played Notre Dame, and that was obviously a learning experience for us. We have NC State coming up on Thursday. Every game in the ACC is a battle. It is the best conference in the country. And for us, it's just to grind and work our absolute hardest every night, because it's anybody's game.
As a leader, do you have to say anything to the young players? You're just trying to lead by example, because there is a difference between the non-conference portion and the ACC portion of play.
I do both, lead by example and try to be as vocal as possible. My main role is to keep everybody together and to continue to push, because you know, when we have some nights that aren't going our way, we can't ever just give up or fold. So my priority is to keep everybody together and grind every single day.
Walsh for 3, drills it.
Do you have any expectations, any hopes for this season, or is it just one practice, one game at a time?
Yeah, it's always one practice and one game at a time, but you do have a vision or goals that you want, and I would like us to be in the middle of the pack in the ACC and to make postseason. So in order to do that, we have to work every single day and take each practice and each game day by day.
That's what I love about Cassidy Walsh, is the fact that she's not afraid of that contact. She only stands at 5'7", but she's sure not afraid to go up and go in and fight for those rebounds and really be an active player.
All right, Cassidy, thanks very much. Stick around. We have more to come on Pitt Beyond the Script.
No other industry is changing as rapidly as healthcare. What's needed are leaders. The University of Pittsburgh Joseph M. Katz Graduate School of Business, in partnership with UPMC, offers an executive MBA that focuses on healthcare. The 19-month hands-on program is taught by world-class faculty from Katz and UPMC. It's designed for experienced healthcare professionals seeking to transform the industry. To learn more, visit emba.pitt.edu.
What a phenomenal world we live in, where the impossible is anything but. No matter the game, we are always playing for Pittsburgh. On the biggest stages, amplifying the quietest voices, leveraging knowledge for society's gain, the builders of the future. We empower minds. We ignite fire and soar higher. Hail to Pitt.
You're watching Pitt Beyond the Script.
I think I fell in love with swimming when I was 8 years old, and my sister was swimming. She's older than me. She's 18 months older. And so she started to be competitive in the sport, and I wanted to follow in her footsteps, so I obviously had to start doing it as well. And as soon as I won my first race, I couldn't stop after that point.
I was 5 years old when I started diving. Both my parents were my coaches. So I was very young, literally got thrown in the deep end, not a metaphor. I got thrown in the deep end as a kid and spent my whole life around the diving facilities. And I fell in love with diving just because I loved the connections that I made. It gave me this opportunity to be able to, you know, travel around the world. But also the feeling of, as an adrenaline junkie, the feeling of diving is amazing.
Well, I think it teaches you life lessons from hard work to setting goals to being determined to accomplish something, having to work very, very hard to accomplish something. I mean, the skills that you learn from swimming beyond just going up and down the pool and following the black line will lead you anywhere in life you want to go, from the academic component into your real life, into the real world. So I think the lessons that are learned on a daily basis to really the lessons that you learn with defeat, through adversity, through competition, I mean, it really develops the entire person.
I kind of grew up being a Pitt fan. Actually swam with the club team here when I was younger, and saw all those college guys and was like, kind of want me to be in their shoes someday. We're a program on the rise. We're young. We're coming up in the ACC. And the ACC is the best place to be for swimming in the conference. And Pitt has incredible resources to help you succeed in the pool and in the classroom.
Xavier Johnson all the way to the rack. That's how you do it. The attack pressure, and we saw that athleticism that has led him to be one of the best freshmen in the ACC early in the season.
Hi, my name is Xavier Johnson. I'm from Woodbridge, Virginia, and I'm a freshman.
Long rebound, tipped out, and into Panther hand. Here comes the X-Man. He tomahawk steal by Johnson. He's in the clear. There's a jam.
This is what these kids come to Pitt for, to play in the ACC.
Well, I'm from like a place where like you gotta work to get successful. My parents, they always pushed me to the best of my ability. I had a little brother too, so I was working for him too. So I'm trying to create a higher ceiling for him too. That's why I play basketball.
Out to Johnson. Step back three. It falls. Xavier Johnson hit back up three.
I think my dad put a ball in my hand, so I just picked up a ball and just started dribbling, and he seen basketball was a thing for me. I just love basketball. It was just for me.
Oh, Johnson on a beautiful crossover finish.
Which way did he go?
Wow.
When I was young, it was a little hard because I was used to play I started in YMCA. That's where I started at, and I was dribbling funny, and then made my dad just start working out, and then I just started getting better and better.
Whoa, look out, look out. Of course, anybody would have a tough time defending that. Wow.
And 8th grade, I scored 56 points in the game, and then that's when he seen my dad was like, wow, you really can do something with this. And then that's when 9th grade, I got recruited to go to elite high school, and then that's when it all kicked off at.
Johnson a three.
Likes that even more.
6 for Xavier Johnson, the freshman from Bishop O'Connell High School in Woodbridge.
My high school career, I played JV as a freshman, and then after my freshman year, I talked to my varsity coach. We talked about would I be able to make varsity as a sophomore. He told me no. He said I wasn't good enough. I was small, so that summer I got in the gym and just started working. Me and my dad 8 hours a day during the whole summer, and then that's when I just got better, and everything just started being successful from there.
Play it inside, no threes.
He's blocked down low, but the rebound up and in. Xavier Johnson again. Solid win on a neutral floor for Pittsburgh. Behind the freshman Xavier Johnson, putting up 20 points.
A lot of people don't know this, but I keep myself in check by saying in my head I do this for my little brother, and that gets me in my feelings somehow. I don't know why, but it does. That's why I start playing better, and then everything just comes.
Jeff Capel era, first year, only 6 games into it. This team playing with a lot of confidence, especially the freshman Xavier Johnson, now up to 10 points. He's trying to push the pace.
I represent Pitt. I represent my family at the same time. My family and Pitt holds me at a high standard.
Well, stop, pop, drop.
Honestly, I represent my AAU program and all those other guys too. All those guys, they helped me get here, so I represent them too, so I want to represent them in the best way.
Now 5 on the shot clock for West Virginia. Picked off by Johnson, watch out. And he throws it down. This kid's going to be sensational someday.
My name is Xavier Johnson, and you're watching Pitt Beyond the Script.
Thank you for watching Pitt Beyond the Script.